So, Big LL in the building. What's up, man? All right, come on, it's time to get serious.
I am serious.
This is showing. This is gonna happen. This is playing
serious.
on the
This
thing.
is serious. What's up,
dude? No, I appreciate you being on, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Are you ready for this episode?
I'm good.
Are you good?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Welcome,
bro. Yeah, so we're in your humble abode, man.
Right.
What kind of spot is this, bro? It's a dope ass spot.
It's a loft in downtown. So.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Dude, no, I appreciate it, man. In general, I just love the fact that, we've had a relationship for a while, man. I mean, it started since we were young 20-somethings. And, you're old now. And I'm getting old.
How old are you?
29. I'm about to be 29 in October.
You were 22.
22?
I think you're 22 when we met. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I was in college. So
20.
I was like finishing up. So probably 21.
21? Okay.
21. Yeah, 21.
20.
So
20.
yeah, I've known this guy for a while now. So it's cool to see the journey, just where we've been. And then we were roommates for like 2 years.
Yep. In Brentwood.
I was eating all your food.
Yep.
But yeah, so this show, as you know, is going to be all about us just supporting people. It's us encouraging people. And awesome. I believe in minorities because that's who we are,
Yes.
But what a lot of people don't understand is, to me, it doesn't matter what it is. You can get it. It doesn't matter what you look like. You can find your lane. You can find what you're good at, and you can own that and master it and become something,
Absolutely. And
I think you and I, we linked off of that. Mm-hmm. We linked off of the fact that you're going places, I'm going places.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I got some questions for you.
Let's go.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. So what's your favorite quote?
Favorite. I have one that I love right now. It's I'm not what happened to me. I'm who I choose to be. So that's something that it's a very powerful quote to me, especially right now. I'm not what happened to me. A lot of us, we spend a lot of time and energy living in the past, dealing with regret, resentment, I'm guilty of that too, and something I still, have to work on. And, but the second part of that is that it's who I choose to become. And I love that word, choose, right? Yeah. Having the power of choice and taking responsibility for yourself and having control of your own life, your future, your destiny, what have you. So I'm not what happened to me. I'm who I choose to become. Like I love that quote. And it means a lot to me, especially with where I am in my life right now. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, what would you say? Cause that's amazing. I feel the same way, it's always, cause stuff's going to happen. I remember literally a year ago, cause right now it's August. We're going to September. Right. Literally a year ago, right. There was a conversation you and I had at WeWork.
Yes.
And It's like a year later, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this, whatever happened.
Yep. But
this is what I'm just going to do. This is my plan.
Right. And I'm proud of you, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, man. It's humble beginnings. You know what I'm saying?
You're good, bro.
Watch, I'm about to blow up.
You're killing it. You're going to kill it.
No, but I love that. I love that, bro. So you are and this is something I'm proud to say all the time. You are a doctor.
Yes.
Physical therapy.
Another Asian doctor.
It is plenty of y'all.
I know.
So yes, you are another Asian doctor, but right. You're a 6-footer Asian doctor, fit, athletic. You're doing your thing. And you've been able to rise to those ranks at a young age. And then also, I got to see you do that. And also you went from that to, starting something you believe in, starting a business that you believe in for yourself and working on that and potentially leaving, what people think is the way to live
right.
Or whatever success is
right.
To do that.
Right.
So like, what would you say is the biggest, like, for you, what are some of the things in your mind that supported you making that decision to go from success already to, all right, I'm going to start and do something on my own that doesn't quite look traditional in terms of success?
Okay. How long do I have?
You got time, bro.
Because no, that's a great question. I guess the easiest way to answer that question would be to share a little bit about my background and my upbringing. So I grew up overseas. I grew up in New Zealand and Taiwan. My family, growing up, we went through it. There's times when times were pretty tough, and there was times when things were working well in my family's favor, and life was good, and I just remember in high school we kind of went through a pretty rough patch, and I remember my parents were like, you might not be able to go back to your school next year, like certain things had to happen, we might have to move, and I was like 16, I wasn't a kid anymore, right? Like when you're a kid you're kind of like, okay, whatever, but I was 16, like kind of like a young adult, and I just remember laying in bed like I was pissed, I was actually upset, I was like, I wasn't necessarily mad at them, but I was just mad at the situation, and I was very frustrated. I felt lost. I didn't feel like I had control over my life, right? And I just remember laying in bed, and I said, when I grow up, like I want to be in a position where I can have stability for my future family. Like not insane like wealth and success, but I never want my own family in the future to have to go through that, right? And a big part of that's a big part of why I actually left Taiwan and I moved to the U.S.
Right.
And so when I moved to the U.S., the land of opportunity, I was just inspired. I was like, people, like you literally can do anything and everything. No, you just got to put in the work. I truly believe that. And I love sports. I love athletes. I love health and fitness. Physical therapy was like just something that made a lot of sense to me. It would allow me to have a very, professional career, very comfortable life. But it's something that I genuinely at the time thought was like my passion and what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Right.
So the dream was, get my doctorate, maybe become, a physical therapist for like an NBA team, or, treat high-end, high profile clients. Like that was kind of the vision. And I went to SC, so I was in LA. So that was kind of what I did. And certain things happened that, 8 years later, I no longer work as a full-time, as a doctor of physical therapy full-time. And I've discovered new passions and new things. For me, especially as a Asian male, we are taught, and this, Nigerian, there's a lot of cultures that education is valued. It's very, very important. It's almost like your duty to be highly educated and get that job. And your family takes a lot of pride in having, their son or their kid, achieve that. Like I remember my parents had a lot of pride. I remember they're super, happy to tell their friends, "Oh, our son graduated," and that was great. And my parents mean a lot to me. I want them to be happy, but my own happiness is more important. And a huge part of my growth was putting myself first, right? And society will have you think that getting a degree, getting a job is it, and you've made it. Yeah. And for the most part, it is. For me personally, it wasn't enough. I didn't feel, again, this isn't a knock on what I do, or the profession of physical therapy. It's amazing. I think we all need professionals, but for me, just who I am, I have to be challenged. I have to be pushed. I love learning. I love creating. And when you're a doctor, you're the guy with all the answers, right? So a lot of people come to you. For example, I have patients that like second ACL tear, like tell me like I can't go through this again. Like whatever you say, I'll do, right? Like whatever you say, whatever surgeon, whatever procedure, I'll do it, right? Exactly. And I was like 22, 23, 24. Right. And to be honest, I was still figuring my own life out, right? So there's a lot of pressure that came with it. And I feel like in a way I almost unfairly was put in this position where like everything had to like be, like in place. Like you're a doctor, this, you have to have your life figured out. And that's not the case. And the more I spent in reflection and meditation and really, looking at the people around me and who I wanted, the heroes of my life, the people that I looked up to, my mentors, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life, you know, and certain things happened, and, you know, opportunities popped up, and over time, like, discovered a new journey. And that's kind of what I'm going through right now.
It's crazy. I remember we were living together, and you would do, this was your schedule. Like, I feel like I can hear you getting ready. Opposite. Yeah, it was nuts because I can hear you getting ready. It's like maybe 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, something like that.
My alarm was 4:45 because I'd have to go to. I also used to train some high profile pro athletes. So there, you know, that's the only way to work. I was Dr. Lawrence 7 to 5, but it was actually like 7 to 7. But I would go to the gym at like 5 o'clock and train 2 people 5 o'clock. And then 5:45, and I was out of there around 6:30. And then I drive straight from Santa Monica to Manhattan Beach.
Dude, yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, it was nuts, man. And I think on Saturdays they used to train, train. Right?
Saturday mornings I would go 7, 8, 9, 10. I'd get home at like 2:15. Yeah. So it'd be like it was like six people Saturday, and then like 2 people throughout the week in the mornings.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
It was cool. It was fun though. You know, it was fun.
I think it was just the time, man. It was dope. I remember, bro. I remember, dude. Used to come home. I used to drop these mad checks on the counter. I used to be so pissed.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was so pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, "Why you flossing on me, bro?" Shit, flossing on your boy, man.
What we thought was big checks.
Right.
At the time, it was more than enough. So
yeah, exactly, man. So it's dang, you come a long way since then. We both come a long way. I remember when you were talking about, there was a time, and this is probably just gonna be the next question, but sure. I was gonna ask you, like, what point, like what was a defining moment for you that really set you forward in a different direction? And I know that we talked about it.
Yeah. So there's a couple, but the one that I think will answer, you know, the previous question the best is, so this was I was probably a year and a half into my career. So I really was starting to establish myself, had kind of a reputation. I was down in Manhattan Beach. I was, you know, making the clinic a lot of money, treating a lot of patients. I was working really hard. I was working my ass off, I'm just to be honest. And in my mind, I was like a asset. You know, I was doing my job. I was going above and beyond. I was staying after to talk to students. You know, I was going out on my free time to market for the clinic. I didn't own the clinic, okay? I just worked there, but I wanted to do a good job. And, you know, who knows when they're in promotion or whatever, just kind of be in the good graces.
Exactly.
I was working my ass off. And I remember my mom is, you know, my everything. That's my why. My mom still lives in Taiwan, and she was turning 50. So she was turning 50. I was 25. Okay, she was turning 50, and it's huge. I mean, it's a huge birthday. My mom's my everything, and I was like, you know what? Like, I want to go home and surprise her for her 50th birthday. Like, that would be the dopest like thing ever. I remember a year and a half ago, I'd gone back for Christmas, did the same thing. Like, I'd never seen her that happy. You know, I was like, I gotta go. So I went in, talked to my boss, and I was like, hey, listen, you know, this means a lot to me. June 27th, my mom's birthday. Like, you think I could take a couple of days off, right? So my plan was, I'm going to take Saturdays. I was going to fly home Friday, get there Saturday, Sunday, take off the week, and then the whole weekend. So I'd be gone like 9 days. I'd probably miss 4 to 5 days of work, and it'd be no problem, right? And oh, by the way, I had yet to take a single vacation day, right? In almost 2 years.
Crazy.
I literally, bro, I'm telling you, like, I covered for everybody. Like, I was just, you know, I wanted to own my own clinic, right? So I was like, you know what, I gotta put in the work, pay my dues. Like, it's all part of it, right? And to be honest, I wasn't traveling yet. I was excited to be making money, you know. So I was like, it's cool. We live in LA, man. We can hang on the weekends. I didn't really need a vacation yet, right? So I was like in the get it mindset. But I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is important to me. Like, this is very, very important to me. Went in, just like, hey, man, like, I'm not gonna say his name, but like, this is what I would like to do. And it wasn't even like a conversation though. He's like, no way. And I was like, you know, I was like, it, like, I still get like a little like, you know, because it's, and it was like, without cursing, it's like, what did you just say? You know, because it's like, it's my mom. It's a big, like, this is her 50th birthday, right? And he's like, no way. And he's like, you have more patients than everyone. We can't reschedule. I was seeing a lot of patients. I was probably seeing too many patients, but we made it work. It's just, we made it work. And he's like, I don't know how we're going to make this work. Like, we'll lose too much money. Right. And that was one of the moments I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is the business of healthcare versus like me providing, actual, like a service. And that's something that I don't want to get into that, but that's a whole other debate, you know? Yeah. But the business of healthcare and that was my first taste of it in my own life. And I was like, okay, like, we got to figure this out. Right. And he's like, maybe, just kind of dismiss me, like, get out the office, go back and treat your patients. And, I remember going the next day and the front desk girl, because they all knew and they were like all for it. They're like, oh my God, I hope it works out. Like, you got to go see her, and he had actually added patients to my schedule.
After that conversation?
Yeah, like kind of like manipulated my schedule. And we have this thing called eval. So a new patient comes in and you got to get all their information, do all types of manual tests, and it's a very like complicated thing, and it takes a lot longer than an hour, right? Usually we're scheduled an hour, it's probably an hour and a half. Complicated patients 2 hours. Like it's a tough thing. And he had scheduled like a bunch of them like in the morning in a row, like kind of just to be like, yo, like, you're not going anywhere type deal. And I've never wanted to like hurt someone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
hey.
But I signed a contract, right? I had, I was a salary employee. Like, I had exchanged my time for money, right? Like, I mean, that's just what happens when you work for someone. So I stormed out. I went in my car. I was pissed. I was in my car. I was crying. I was like yelling. Like, I was a mess, But it's crazy because in the back of my mind, I wasn't really mad at him. Because he was just doing his job,
he's
right?
Part of the
he's just part of it's just the system, right? Mm-hmm. So I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at like the situation. Damn. And more importantly, I was it was kind of like when I was a kid and I didn't feel like I had control. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like that it's funny, like that's exactly what it was. I just felt very lost, and like I was like, I don't have control of my own life, and I'm 25. This is supposed to be the prime of my life.
Exactly.
And I don't want to make this like a sob story. Like, trust me, I have a great life. But in that moment, though, it was like a very life-changing moment for me. And I just remember, you just look in the rearview mirror, not to make it dramatic, but I was, and I was, I remember looking at myself, and I was like, man, like, you don't want to do this for the rest of your life.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like, I was just like, I didn't say that, but I could just looking at myself, and I was just talking to myself. I was like, something's got to change, and obviously I didn't get to go see her, and man, that was a tough week. That was a very tough week, but it really got me thinking. Now, like, for the first time in my life, I was like open to something else. I always tell you, it's kind of like when you're in a relationship with someone that you think is the one, right? Mm-hmm. We've all kind of been in there, and there's that moment where you're just like, wow, like, I don't know if I want to spend the rest of my life with this person, and it's very confronting.
It changes.
Yeah, but it's truth. It's your truth. So you can't like,
and it's like in the
yeah. So that's kind of what it felt like, and it was crazy because I was like, man, you got your doctorate though, like, like, I'm not trying to like bag on any other jobs, but it's like, bro, that took like 7 years. It took a lot of money, like a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Like, most people, like, I still get emails from kids like on Instagram, like, hey man, like, this is what I want to do. Like, what do you think? And like it's a desired occupation, Yep. But it wasn't what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I had to be like honest with myself.
But the thing about that though, because I feel you, bro. And the thing about it is a lot of people they won't even understand that. It's something that for yourself.
Yeah.
But because of the prestige that comes with that and the money, obviously.
Yeah. But I'll be honest, I mean, being a physical therapist is dope, but like, it ain't like, I couldn't retire my mom. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have taken like 15, 20 years to like do that. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like we're financially cool, Like, a lot of people think that like lawyers, doctors, like, yeah, you have a above average life for sure, but it ain't you know, it's not like like owning a business or whatever. Like it's because again, you're an employee, you're a glorified employee.
At the end of the day,
right?
At the end of the day,
you just understand that.
Like because even in the ER, like I talk to the docs all the time about, so I mean, I tell her, I be like, so you making all this money and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know what you gonna do beyond that? I just always I just throw it in there. I just want to see, want to see what they say.
What do they say?
It's like they're like, man, you know, I do other shifts. I do overtime at this hospital or this hospital, and it's like, you know, let's just say ER doctor. I mean, they're making most likely in the 300s.
Okay.
But, you know, a lot of that is there's things that they have to pay for them being actual physicians and working.
Right.
But let's just take that away.
And they're not taking that home, too. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like they're not taking that home. And it makes me think, it's like, dang, man, all these people who it makes you think, it's like, man, once I get there, I'm set.
Right.
They have to work overtime just to match the lifestyle, whatever lifestyle that they're living, because you start making
it always
kind of
looks
money.
better on the outside. You people be like, when this happens, like, nowhere. It ain't like that. Dude, when I was training, I actually made more money training in 16 hours. I actually made, I'm going to be honest, like I made more money in those 16 hours training. Obviously, I charged a lot. I just did.
You better.
Santa Monica, bro. Like, and like NBA players, like they have money, right? But I'm saying in those 16 hours, I made more than I did in, I would say, 50 to 60 hours a week. Right? Like, I mean, it's so man. It ain't like you become this and everything's good. Like, it's just not what it is. But we're taught that certain professions, you know, when you have that, everything's great, and it's just not the case, bro. It's not the case.
I know.
Dude, healthcare people about to come after us, bro. I'm telling you. Like this is like all the tea. Like, yeah.
They're about to be so mad, dude. That's be so bad. No, so that changed everything for you. And it's crazy how I think I could say this, and you probably could relate, that it's like once those thoughts come into your mind, once you get there, like it changes how you look at the world forever. Like it changed everything for you.
Yes.
You know? So what about, because a lot of people that are watching this are going to be people who, you know, they probably haven't figured out what they need, what they want to do. They see all this stuff on Instagram, lifestyle, whatever. They probably haven't figured out what they want to do. Or they probably are in a position where they've tried something and they've had a big setback or what we would consider a failure or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, right.
So what, I know we've all had it, but, you know, sometimes, I don't know if LL has.
Shut up, bro.
I don't know if LL has, but, you know, you tell me, what do you do?
So failure, the word failure is really interesting, right? Because, like, I mean, what would you define as failure, if you don't mind me asking?
That's a good question. Well, I would say if I were to define it, it's when you have an expectation to achieve something and it doesn't happen.
Got it. So, and I totally hear you, and I agree with that to a certain extent, right? So something that you expected to happen. Okay, my point is, I don't believe failure exists. Like, I think the only failure is like quitting. So, like to me, it's like if you quit, like, that's failure, because whatever you sought out to do is never going to happen, right? Like I mean, honestly, if you quit, you never want it in the first place. Like that's how I look at it. But your definition was failure is expecting something that doesn't happen, right? So my question to that is, okay, cool. So what if what you wanted to happen wasn't supposed to happen? That makes sense? Like I know that's how I look at it. So my point is though, that's not a failure then, right? It just was the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. So I share that because there's so many things that I thought were supposed to happen based on my terms, my timeline, what have you, right? And certain things were supposed to play out because this is what I wanted. Steve Jobs has a quote, it's like, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking back, right? And not to get too like philosophical, but I truly don't believe in failure. I definitely think there's times when I wanted something to happen or I expect something to happen and it didn't play out, and it definitely affected me. The stuff hit. All right, so does that make sense though?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So one of the first ones was I grew up in Taiwan, and the dream was everyone apply to schools in the U.S., move to the U.S., get your education. So USC was like a huge like thing for me. My mom, I was actually born here. My mom was supposed to go to USC. Wanted to. My mom has a master's in music. She's an Italian opera singer, right? Super dope. She never went. She got pregnant with me, and it was like USC was always like this like school that was like, it was just like mentioned in the house, and
so even in Taiwan.
Yeah, just because it was like I mean it's a famous school, and there's a lot of famous people, movie stars that went to USC. Like for us, when you think of colleges in the U.S., there's the few names, and then LA is UCLA, USC. So my point is, in my life, USC came up a lot. In high school, it was definitely one of the schools I applied to. There's no way I was gonna get in, right? Like guys, like I graduated high school with 2.9, bro. Like
damn, bro,
people,
partying, man.
People I mean, I just got in a lot of trouble. Like I didn't like school. Like I didn't like I didn't like.
This is the hold on. This is the doctor talking,
bro. It's so funny. Like I didn't like doing my homework. I liked doing projects. I liked playing sports. I liked playing music. We started a band in high school. I played every sport. Like I liked all the other stuff, the social aspects of student government, right? But like sitting in a classroom being told what to do, me, bro. Like it was tough for me, man. Bro. Like just being told, read these 17 pages and do this. It was hard for me, And when I got frustrated, I just wouldn't do it. So, but I killed exams. SAT killed. Like I'm a good test taker, but just homework was tough, and that's why a lot of my grades, I passed. But yeah. So I'm saying that. Yeah. So my point is that there's no way I was going to get into USC. Still applied, didn't get in. Right, felt like a piece of disappointment. Right, but so in my failure, I went to Temple University in Philly, and that was one of the best decisions of my life. Like like last night, I had my boy was in town from Miami. He's a really famous DJ now, killing it. Was on my floor in Temple. Like I met some of the dopest people ever from Temple. When we went, it was nicknamed Diversity University. It was the most diverse university. Dope. Hundreds and hundreds of kids, hundreds of countries represented. Right. Like my roommate, my suitemates were like Korean, Nigerian, Egyptian.
We represent.
Yo, he was smart too. Like his name was Ronson, super smart. But and then we had like the kids from like Pennsylvania, like farmland, like Amish country, right? So it was like really really dope though. Like
it's crazy.
Yeah. Man. So best decision ever. Like way better than had I gone to SC for undergrad. It also taught me to take school seriously and all these things, and it gave me a lot of passion, and I just learned so much. And the funny thing is, 4 years later, I applied to the #1 physical therapy program, which was USC, and I got in. Right, so it's like it all comes like full circle. And then now, like I live in LA, and like I don't even do physical therapy, but like that whole journey led me to LA. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's at the time, which was like devastating. Like we regret to inform you that you're not good enough, right? Became like this like ultimate blessing, because if had I gone in, I don't know if I would have. I don't know. I was young. I don't know if I could have handled living in LA and the temptation. I don't know. So everything works out the way it's supposed to work out. But that was a. I remember feeling very bad, and looking back, it was one of the best things that could have happened to me. So, that's crazy, man. But which is why I have so much USC pride. So,
I mean, at the end of the day, though, like this is a side note, but
yeah,
I think, or I know that it's usually grad schools. Where you go to grad school, undergrad. I mean, it's cool.
Where you start, it's where you finish.
Yeah. So that's just what it is.
I probably saved a lot of money not going to SC, to be honest.
Come on, man. See, bro, and then you end up getting in there.
Yeah. So yeah.
So it don't even matter.
Yeah, of course not. But I'm saying at the time, right, opening that letter was like, damn, I'm not good enough. So it was confronting.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So okay. So what would you say? Because man, you just bless us with a lot of nuggets right now, man. What would you say is something that people need to or something that people need to understand to get ahead in life? like to get ahead in general?
Okay. The first thing I would say is you have to figure out what you want and where you're going, right? So, for example, I share this sometimes, but like, if you and I get in a car and we don't have a destination, we're wasting time and gas, right? So, I mean, like, seriously, right? So, like, we're going after, you were saying, like San Diego, right? Yeah. So we get in the car, and, we have a clear destination, San Diego, right? Which is south of LA. We know we got to take the 5 south or the 4 or 5 or whatever, right? And that's where we're headed, okay? So if we don't have that destination and we start seeing 5 north, like we're going to think nothing of it. We could end up in freaking Santa Barbara. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I know it's like kind of silly, but truly, like, that's so important to me. Like, before starting anything, you got to know like what you want, where you're going, because once you have that, like, that's like big picture, right?
Exactly.
Then the details kind of like they just kind of like figure themselves out.
They
show
up, yeah.
But what happens is we go like, this is all the little stuff. We focus on the minute stuff, and we're so busy, but we're almost like, it's like busy but not productive. That makes sense?
Man, I talk about that all the time.
Yeah. But that's like, I mean, I'm talking to myself because I'm like, I grew up with ADHD. I was always just like all over the place, right? And I read a couple books. There's a book called The One Thing, which was like a huge book for me.
I read that book because you recommended it.
Yeah, it's like, what's the one thing you can do today that'll get you closest to what you want the most? There's a lot that goes into it, but what's the one thing you can do today? So meaning now, not tomorrow, or right? What's today that'll get you closest to what you want the most? What's the most important thing? So again, though, like you gotta have that, that vision of what you want, what you want your future to look like, what your goals are, and then just work backwards, right? So San Diego, it's cool, right? Orange County, like, and so forth, right? And then the dope thing about that is it allows you to stop at any point, reflect, make adjustments, reset, and go. So that's probably the first thing is figure out what the heck you want to do, or where you want to go, or where you want to be.
Yeah.
And then I would definitely follow that up with why. Like, why do you want to do this, right? Because even for me, like, getting my doctorate, like, why did I want to do that? I don't know, to have a stable life. There's so many other ways to do that. There's actually probably better ways to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So I think a part of that was, I wanted to make my family proud, right? I remember my mom told me once when she was a kid, her dad's dream, who I never met, was to have a doctor in the family. And I remember, like, she told me that when I was like 6, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I still remember, like, I gotta, that was a part of it.
Right.
Someone who I never met, right? Who said it to my mom in passing, and that somehow dictated 7 years of my life, right? So why you want to do is really important, because that'll obviously, in your times when you want to quit, or you consider yourself a failure, like that, your why will pull you out of that, hopefully, keep you focused on what really matters. I definitely think when, like, having a timeline attached to it too, because that'll dictate the effort you put in, right? So for example, if someone's like, I want to an artist says, right, I want to make, I want to make a CD. I want to make a CD. No one has a CD. I want to make an album. I want to make an album, right? Yeah. Dude, when's the last? There's no CDs. Okay. I want to make an album, right? But that could be like 15 years from now, right? Yeah. So maybe like along the way, get married, raise some kids, and then create an album. Or it could be like, I'm releasing an album in the next 2 years, right? And like that will really, that all of a sudden becomes number one priority, right? It becomes everything, because to create an album in 2 years is a big deal. You see what I'm saying? So attaching time to a goal is huge. And then of course, work, like just the work, the day-to-day effort that you put in to accomplish it. Like, without that, like, none of us have any business having goals and dreams.
Exactly.
You got to be willing to put in the work.
Exactly. So Lo, what's your why?
My why is my mom. That's my number one. But my why is also myself. My why is, and it's funny because I used to like
feel bad.
Yeah, like, bro, like I always.
I don't feel bad.
I know, but like, we're taught, like, it's like selfish to put yourself first sometimes, right? And it's funny, like in the past, it's like cool, like okay, is it help my mom, make the world a better place, which is all important. But for me, it's like it's myself, and it's to, like, I feel like I have a duty. It's my duty to maximize my potential. Like really, like to see, like God's blessed me with certain things, and it's my responsibility to make the most of my time here, the time that I've been blessed with, right? And it's crazy. Like my buddy passed away last year. He was 30. He was 31. I was 30. Really, really good friend of mine. Like super good friend of mine. And like just at his, we all got together and we were just talking about him. And I was like, man, like he didn't waste any time. Like this dude like saw the world, bro. Like he saw the world. Like there's people from like Brazil at his funeral. I was like, when did he go to Brazil? Like I didn't know that, right? And he had time to like just do all types of things. And my point is, like, I still remember, like, man, like he lived a full life. Like we have a hashtag that's like live like Matty G, right? And I don't know, like I was just like, man, like I don't want to waste my time here. I just don't. And especially as you get older, like time is fast. Like, dude, dude, you say you were 21 when you met, so I was
23.
23, yeah, 23, turning 24, right? So it's like, bro, that's 8 years like that, right? And time, it's just time is so precious, and I truly want to see what I can do with the limited time that I have left. And then the last part is just my future family. So like the family that I will have one day. I want to be the best version of myself for that, to attract the person that I'm going to be with, to be a father one day for my kids. Like that's who I do, like my affirmations in the morning, and like I manifest stuff, and like that's stuff that I speak into it, like I put energy towards that. And so, yeah, my why is my mom, myself, and my future family.
Dang, bro. Like, how do you, I don't know, question to follow up with that.
What's the next question? What's the next question?
That was deep, bro.
Shut up.
Dude, man, that's awesome. Hey, man, I feel like I got to
whip out your droid.
Look. Oh, the droid asked the next question? Nah, man, that I'll say this. One thing I love about doing this, like starting, because this is still new for me, right? We're about to launch. One of the things that I love about this is that, like, I felt this with my brother, and now I'm feeling this with you, is that I feel like I got to know you today, just now, in a completely new way. Because it's like, this is like a platform to ask certain questions.
Yeah, I mean,
you just normally wouldn't really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I've known you for a long, but we're not going to sit up here, hey, bro, like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just,
exactly.
But it's powerful. It's power. I mean, connection, and I don't think we do that enough. That we're on, like, we're on our phones like this, like just
all the time, man.
Like thinking that this is connection. This isn't connection. This is attention, right? There's a big difference. And the thing that I love, like, when people be like, "What do you like doing for fun?" I love I love food, so I love eating. But when you go out to eat with someone, you really like. There's something about sitting across from someone, right? You really can't hide, right? And if they got their phone up, you like, put your phone down. Yeah. But I love going out to eat with people and just really getting to know people, because no one's unhappy when they eat. Everyone's happy, right? Yeah. But you also have like 30 minutes, an hour of pretty much someone's undivided attention. Yep. And you really truly get to connect. And I love it. Like anytime I meet someone, I want to hang out with them. I either, let's go grab something to eat. Like I enjoy doing that, it's something that we've done for years. It's like a social thing, but like,
yeah,
so
for ages and ages.
Right. But I think it's important, and I love that you're doing this, and I know this is something that you wanted to do for a long time. So I'm proud of you, man.
Bro, I was afraid to do it.
Right. But what were you afraid of? Failing? Which isn't real.
I don't know what I was afraid of, man. It's interesting you say that.
Fear's not real.
Yeah, exactly.
Fear's not real. Fear is a feeling.
Right.
So,
right.
Like
it's like uncertainty.
Yeah, but it's uncertainty.
But it's meaning you make
it's
from
fear of the unknown, right? But people don't understand. I mean, you're assuming that by doing it, it's going to be bad and it's not going to go well. But that same energy that you put into, not you, but anyone we put into not doing something is all the more reason to do it, because most likely the stuff you worry about isn't going to happen.
Right.
and then you're going to figure it out, and you're going to learn and grow from it, right? And It's your gift. Like this is your. I've known you for 8 years, and you're the technology guy. Like I couldn't even set up the internet. You know, like you're the.
I hope you still. I hope you can now.
No, I didn't do it. I had to do it. Man. Right? Like it's not my thing. Like I can't. You know, it's like
it's just not.
I know what I can do well, and I know what I delegate. Right? Yeah, but like, but like this is you, bro. Like connection, like getting to gadgets, technology, interaction. Like you're very good at connecting. You could talk to anyone. You can talk to anyone and make them feel very comfortable. That's a skill. That's a gift. And so I love seeing this, and I'm excited to see what happens, because like this is like a very powerful way to impact like people, impact the world.
Yeah.
Which I know is like important to you. So
yeah. And I mean, I already talked to you about this, but just to kind of restate this, like I felt like this was so needed. Yeah, what I'm doing here is serving people. I'm doing it for people, but I feel like it was in me to do. You just mentioned that. It's like I have to do this. Like this is the way I was doing business in the past, and the way I was putting myself out there. We had the Fit Lab and all that stuff. It was dope. Right. It was cool.
Right.
But that wasn't my vision.
It's not.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're not going to be excited about anything that's not in alignment with your vision.
Exactly.
Right. It's and then it's going to start feeling like you're being told what to do. And again, that's not what you are. That's not who I am. Anytime, dude, energy is crazy, bro. Like if you're not excited, and if you're not passionate, and you're not connected to what you do, you're never going to do a good job.
Man, that's so real. Oh, that's so real, dude. I had to learn the hard way from that.
But because of, I mean, we all learn. I'm still learning that. But because of like pride and image, like you're going to do your best, and you're gonna. There's a lot of dope people that. Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. A lot of dope people that are wasting their time, energy, and talent in the wrong opportunities. Okay, and I can say that of myself. I can say that of a lot of people that we know, right? And it's so funny. It's like I be looking at it and I'm like, man, like just please, bro, like just figure it out faster. You know what I'm saying? Like just like see the big picture, and don't waste any more time. And what's crazy is like when certain people do it and they discover it, like stuff just like happens, because
that's what I feel like it's happening to me too.
It's a perfect fit. This is what you're meant to do, bro. I'm excited for you. Like this is dope, because. And then look at like the
popping on
the time and the money you're willing to invest,
like easily,
because you're not spending money on it. It's just this is all part of it. This is just what I got to do,
right?
It's when someone has a kid, right? Like overnight, like they like instantly
become a different person.
Yeah, they transform. They become a different person. They grow up. They're mature. Like their priorities shift. I know people that like literally like have gone like sober like overnight, like the second they had a kid, or stop smoking, because it's not important. Why would they spend hundreds or thousands of dollars a year when they have diapers to buy? And you know what I'm saying? Like a kid that needs to be fed. It's you're on purpose.
I was just gonna say that it's what purpose does to people, man.
But like a lot of people have a hard time finding purpose, right? Or like, what's your passion? Because like it's interesting though, because that's such like it's like a sexy word to throw around now, like passion, purpose, I'm living, and it's great, right? But I'll be honest, like even for me, for a long time, like what the hell is my purpose? Like, it's like it's very. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. Like, what's your life purpose, right? Like, and for me, I just had to figure out like what made me happy, because that made it easier. And there was less pressure. Right. And so for me, like what makes me happy is people. I love people. It don't got to be some crazy thing. It could just be talking, hanging out. It could be going on a workout. It could be going hiking. Like I love driving, like going on drives and like connecting with people. I've gotten to know people and just like connect, just like driving to, like little road trips or whatever, I love people. And that like, it's like, was it like, if this was the last day on earth, like what would you be doing? I would probably I truly think like I wouldn't do anything crazy. I'd probably get a bunch of people together and we'd just do something. Like go to the beach, or you know what I'm saying, like
that's what you've always
have a
been.
barbecue or something. Like, yeah, I love networking. I love learning because people are interesting, bro. Everyone has has a story. Everyone has something to teach you.
You can, something you can learn from. Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man. I mean, that's another thing. So like, you know, instead of finding your purpose, your passion, find what makes you happy. If this is what makes you happy, bro, just do this every day. At some point, you'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's working forward.
My man. Hey, yep. I love it. Okay, so what would you say right now you're excited about? Like, what's something you're doing, project you're doing that you're excited about right now?
As far as just like,
it could be Herbalife. It could be something in Herbalife, or something that you're doing that might be have to do with your family or something like that.
Herbalife is dope. Herbalife is you know, that's the opportunity that you introduced to me. So thank you so much. I love Herbalife. It's challenged me to grow. It's taught me so much. It's humbled me. You know, it's definitely. I mean, it's changed my life in every way, right?
Yeah, me too.
So, outside of Herbalife, though, something that I've always had interest in is real estate. So, even in college, like I took real estate classes just as an elective, you know, and just. It's just something that I've always been interested in. It's something that's always been around. It'll always be around. So my free time, you know, I'd be studying real estate investing. I'd be watching YouTube videos, hitting up, you know, the people I know that are killing. And, you know, it's, you know, I know when my life gets to a certain point, that's something that I can kind of go a little bit more aggressively into. Like that's,
exactly.
You know, so right now, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff I'm doing is like, you know, getting the income up, getting the credit right, you know, connecting with like, I've been like going to Wells Fargo, like connecting with bankers and stuff. And like just like, you know, like I have a client, is a young dude. He's like lost a bunch of weight, super dope dude, teaching me like little tricks on like, you know, how to just like. It's crazy, man. Like he's helped funded like a ton of like real estate stuff in downtown, and we'll hang out, take him sushi or whatever, and just like kind of, you know. So I'm not in that real estate investor, you know, part of my life yet, but I'm learning. You know, just like you're honing your craft.
Yeah. It's crazy you say that, man.
What?
It's crazy you say that because like I'm just looking at this. Like everybody in the camera right now, you won't even see, you know, what's going on right here in front of us, but. Literally, I would say 2 months ago, I wasn't even using camera. It was just one little thing that I bought, a little recorder, and I would speak on it while somebody else
really?
used it. Yeah, like the little mic, right? And so we started with that.
Yeah.
And I had this little thing, and then it just developed and developed, and then I talked to Kim. You know, Kim's the project manager, so she was like, Val, like you need to do video. Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Right.
You need to do video. I was like, okay. So
I mean, dude, with like YouTube and stuff, you gotta
maximize. I know, man, but damn, I was like, that's a lot, man. It's a lot of work.
You want to impact. You want to help a lot of people.
Exactly.
You know, but so real estate's a big thing.
So dope.
There's just little things that I like I love cars. Like everyone that knows me, I love cars. And you know, I was that kid that like never left the house without like 2 little toy cars in my hands, and I can, you know, name every car when I was like 8 years old. Like I just love cars, and you know, and they don't got to be like crazy expensive. I just like, it's just what I like. You know, some people into shoes, like it's just you know, watches or whatever. Like I love cars, and I've always wanted to be able to like, you know, like have some sort of like maybe like become like an auto broker, or buy cars, flip, like not like as like a career, but just as a hobby that I can, you know, if you make money doing it, why not?
Because it's what you love anyway.
Yeah, but it's like, so I'll lay in bed and I'll be like, you know, I'll be reading sometimes, but if I got the computer, I'll be on like Zillow, Redfin, looking up like real estate. Just searching. I cannot afford any of them, right? But I'm just looking, and I'll do the same thing with cars. Like, bro, like I literally can tell you like my dream car is like an Audi R8. I can tell you right now that there's 117 R8s for sale on Car Gurus. Like, it's like,
why do you know that?
Because it's like, it's what I'm into. It's like stuff that I know how many V8s are, like, it's just little things that I'm into, but for some reason I know that down the line, this will all play itself out, versus like, let me binge watch. I don't know what show people, Game of Thrones. I don't know the shows. Like, not trying to bag anyone watching shows. It's not what I'm into.
Exactly.
So, this makes it sound super nerdy, by the way.
What?
but
it is what it is.
Yeah,
man.
It's what I'm into, and obviously I'm a little older now. So, you know, what I used to love watching like basketball games and football games, and all that stuff is dope. But for my growth, like for me and where I want to go and specific goals I have, like I got my vision board up there and stuff. Like, I know like the different avenues, different paths. So yeah, man, it's fun. I'm always learning. I love learning. Part of my I call it like a DMO. It's like 10 things I got to do every day.
Dope. So
daily method of operations, 10 things I got to do. One of them is actually learn something new. And I have, it's funny, right here I have some of my journals, and I actually write down what I learned today, or like a win from the day. But what I learned today is something that I added this year. Yeah, and it's huge, because it could be something as small as like, you know, the different types of light bulbs. Like something like super random, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be like how to fix a garbage, like a garbage disposal or whatever. Like stuff that like, it's just like super random stuff. Or it could be like, what's the difference between like stocks and bonds? Like something huge. Like it's, but your brain is a muscle, right? And you gotta strengthen it. Just like we love the gym, right? And if you want, you know, stronger legs or whatever, you gotta squat, you gotta do leg press, whatever, right? Same thing. So you want your brain to, in specific areas of your brain, you got to put in the time and effort. You got to get your reps up. You got to get your reps up.
Yep.
So
daily.
Yes, it has to be a priority. Your growth and your development has to be a priority. Yeah. So
how does man bun happen?
Yeah, there's a reason I'm growing this out. It's just anytime.
Why are you growing it up?
So anytime there's things I'm working on in my life, first I just grow my hair out. It's like a thing, and then when I knock it out, I cut my hair. That's how you see me grow my hair.
I see you do it. Yeah.
So that's the real reason. So there's a specific goal that I'm trying to achieve, and it's just a thing for me. And I grow my hair out, and I look like an a-hole for a little bit. But that's truly what it is. People ask, I'm like, yeah, it's tied to a goal.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why I do. I've just done it.
I mean, maybe I could do it with my beard, but I don't know if I can take care of all that hair. I'll be honest with you. That's just what it is.
I can't see you with like a big ass beard.
I can't, dude. I can't.
For the beard.
I can't. That's it.
You're good.
That's it. Yeah, just keep it like
Show your pretty face.
I need to shave. Yeah. Anyways, man. Okay, so this has been great, and in general, like just in closing, first we're gonna ask 2 questions. The first one is how do we reach you? Like, how do we get in contact with Lawrence? Instagram.
Yeah, I have Instagram.
So your IG is
I am Lawrence Liu.
Yeah.
So it's funny because my Instagram used to be Dr._Lawrence Liu.
Yeah.
And it's funny. This year was like the year where I was like very like I felt like, you know, I turned 30 last year, and I went into 2017. I was like, I'm gonna turn 31 this year, right? And you know, it's like you're definitely not a kid anymore. Like you're like you know, an adult. And I was like, man, like I am more than just a doctor of physical therapy. Like I was a person, and I was a human being with thoughts and feelings before this degree.
Way before,
right? That I put in the time and effort, and someone gave to me, and that gave me status, right?
Exactly. Yep.
But like when I go on airplanes, Dr. Lawrence Liu, man, it's awesome.
Milk it. Yeah. Gotta milk it.
Hell yeah. Hotels, whatever, right? But it's like, you know why though? Because they, just in case something happens, like they you know, like they be like taking care of you just in case.
Wait. So wait. So wait. Hold up.
Like
because
that's someone in Southwest told me that it's why they ask is like they want to know who the nurses are. They want to know who the doctors are. So
when they ask it on the plane,
dude, you know when you go online and you buy like your plane ticket, you go suffix, and it's like
yeah.
So
okay,
But sometimes you can like type in.
You can type in.
They want to know. They want to know who's on the plane. It makes a lot of sense.
Of course it does.
So, yeah. Anyways, what were we talking about?
No, I was just we were talking.
So Instagram. So I was like, you know, I was someone before that, and I changed it. I was like, I am Lawrence Liu, because that's just who I am. I am Lawrence Liu, and something so small like meant a lot to me, because it was kind of like my release of like the old me. Right. Not to say that I'm not proud of being a doctor or whatever. It's just I feel like who I am as a person, you know, is more than just a degree. And a lot of people be doing that. A lot of people be hiding behind accomplishments and thinking that's them. And then what happens though is when that's taken away from you, you lose your job or whatever. They get lost. So,
damn, bro.
Law of no attachment, bro. Law of no attachment. Not attached to anything. Just day by day.
Bro.
What?
That was deep.
Thanks. Follow me.
So follow me. Gotta end it with that.
No, man.
So follow me on.
But it's crazy. Even this like the YouTube thing, right? Like I used to use like Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. I'm not a big social media people. Like anyone that knows, I don't have a ton of followers. I try like if I'm not using it, I log out. Like I literally try to. I'm just not a big social media. I should be better at it because it's amazing marketing. But it's like. You think of like the gift that it is, right? People would be like, I'm wasting my time on it, you know, YouTube. But like the value and the like Instagram is free marketing.
It is.
Like I know someone that started a clothing line and, you know, out from his trunk, and now it's one of the biggest fitness clothing lines in the world. Like I'm like 10 million, right? Like 10 million last year. Like whatever, 3 million, 10 million. Off of
free, right. Essentially free.
Yeah, and then you think of YouTube, like think of the education, think of what you probably learned half of this stuff on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Like it's great. Like the time that we live in is so dope. Like we are so lucky that like the internet and technology, like I don't know, man. Like I don't really know where I'm going with this, but it's like we get to not take it for granted. Yeah. For sure, you know. But if it is a distraction, then you know that's something you got to figure out.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't really give a damn until I was like, okay, if I'm going to put myself out there for this purpose.
Well, there was no reason for you to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because you weren't clear on where you wanted, what you wanted.
Yeah. And So even when times when people are like, "Yo, get your Instagram," I'm like, "Why,
bro?" Like, I have a dope ass SLR camera, right? It's just been sitting there. I don't use it.
Exactly.
I've been using my iPhone most of the time, right? But like you would be like, "Yo, this." So it's just it's the tool in the right hands.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Right. So. Okay,
cool. So I am Lawrence Liu, Liu. Man, I'm tired of people misspelling his last name. They always misspell your last name, man.
Right.
So Lawrence, Liu, but of course we're gonna have show notes. So on the website, you guys will find it as well. So I'll talk about that at the end of it too. So that's the main one, and then obviously on there is if someone wants to contact you from there for whatever, do so. We both have been helping people change their lives through nutrition, lose weight, gain muscle, gain energy. You want to add anything to that?
No, you
good. Yeah, pretty much.
Lifestyle change
in general. So we've both been doing that for years. So if you related to him in any way and you feel like that's what it's like, man, I could learn a lot from Lawrence, which I know I have as a friend of his. You guys know now where to contact him.
Dope.
All right. So in parting, in closing, what would you say is a good piece of parting guidance that you want to bless these folks with?
I would definitely say know that your time is limited, and that it's okay to make yourself a priority. And if you're not happy or if you're not fulfilled with what you're doing, know that you're not alone, and it's okay. Like, what's not okay is settling and allowing that pattern to continue, right? Like, never settle. And one of the single most powerful things you can do is constant reflection. Constantly, take time and look at where you are. Are you happy? Are you unhappy? Are you inspired by what you're doing? Are you proud of what you're doing? And if you are, awesome, keep going. Go harder, right? 10 times harder. If not, you're not a tree. Like you're as a human being, you have free will, you have the power of choice. So take advantage of it, and figure out, what it is that makes you happy and go from there.